This is the story of a friendship turned fatal, a tale of power, betrayal, and a night so infamous that it would forever be etched in the dark legacy of the Third Reich. We're exploring Adolf Hitler's vendetta against Ernst Röhm, the head of the Sturmabteilung, or SA, culminating in the notorious Night of the Long Knives. Let's step back into the tumultuous 1920s and 30s in Germany. Ernst Röhm, a fervent nationalist and an early member of the Nazi Party, was instrumental in the rise of the SA, a paramilitary wing that played a crucial role in Hitler's ascent to power. Under Röhm's leadership, the SA grew rapidly, becoming a force of street fighters and political soldiers that intimidated opponents and bolstered Nazi rallies. Ernst Röhm's ambitions for the SA were grandiose. He envisioned this paramilitary force not just as the party's muscle, but as the future revolutionary army of Germany, an idea that was increasingly at odds with Adolf Hitler's strategies. The SA, under Röhm's command, was a rough, undisciplined force, embodying the spirit of radical change that Röhm himself championed. Their presence was marked by street violence, intimidation of political opponents, and a visceral hatred for the established order, particularly targeting the communists and the so-called Old Guard of the Weimar Republic. Röhm's leadership style was charismatic yet authoritarian, and he garnered a mix of fierce loyalty and deep-seated animosity within the ranks of the Nazi Party and beyond. His close personal relationship with Hitler, dating back to the early days of the party, gave him a unique position of influence. Yet his outspoken nature and his disdain for bureaucratic niceties often put him at odds with other party officials who were vying for Hitler's favor. As the 1930s progressed, the SA became increasingly seen as a potential rival to the German military, a perspective that Röhm did little to dispel. He advocated for a second revolution that would dismantle the traditional military and replace it with the SA, an idea that alarmed the Reichswehr's leadership and many conservative elements in Germany who were already wary of the Nazis' radical agenda. Röhm's push for greater political and military power was viewed with suspicion not just by the military elite, but also by key figures within the Nazi Party. As the SA's actions grew more bold and Röhm's rhetoric more inflammatory, the seeds of conflict were sown. Hitler, who was adept at navigating the treacherous waters of Nazi politics, began to perceive Röhm's burgeoning power and revolutionary zeal as a threat to his own position and to the delicate balance of power he had established with the German military and conservative elites. As the Nazi Party climbed closer to the pinnacle of German politics, cracks began to form in the seemingly solid relationship between Hitler and Röhm. Röhm's vision for the SA as a revolutionary army superseding the traditional military began to unsettle the Führer. Furthermore, Röhm's outspoken manner and calls for a second revolution created deep unease among the Nazi leadership and the German military elite. In this context, the relationship between Hitler and Röhm, once marked by camaraderie and shared struggle, began to fray. The stage was being set for a dramatic showdown, with the future direction of the Nazi movement and Germany itself hanging in the balance. The SA's rise under Röhm's leadership was not just a story of expansion and empowerment. It was a harbinger of the deadly internal conflicts that would soon erupt within the Nazi hierarchy, reshaping the party and the nation in profound and ominous ways. Behind the scenes, power dynamics shifted. Heinrich Himmler and Hermann Göring, sensing an opportunity to consolidate their own positions, began to sow distrust between Hitler and Röhm. They highlighted Röhm's growing ambition and his potential threat to Hitler's supremacy. The stage was set for a confrontation, but the form it would take remained shrouded in secrecy. Then came the night that would seal Röhm's fate and redefine the power structure within the Nazi Party. On June 30th, 1934, under Hitler's direct orders, a series of coordinated arrests and executions unfolded across Germany. Rome, along with scores of SA leaders and other perceived enemies of Hitler, were summarily executed without trial. This brutal purge, known as the Night of the Long Knives, sent shockwaves through the Nazi Party and the entire nation. In the aftermath, Hitler's power was unchallengeable. The SA's influence waned, and the army, now reassured of its primacy, swore an oath of personal loyalty to Hitler. The Night of the Long Knives not only eliminated Hitler's internal rivals, but also demonstrated his absolute control over the Nazi Party and the lengths he would go to maintain his authority. In just a few hours, the landscape of Nazi Germany was irrevocably altered. The Night of the Long Knives stands as a stark reminder of the lethal interplay of power, loyalty, and betrayal within one of history's most infamous regimes. As we reflect on this chilling episode, we're reminded of the catastrophic consequences when unchecked power converges with ruthless ambition. Thank you for joining us in this exploration of one of the Third Reich's most pivotal and murderous moments. Until next time, keep delving into history, for it's the key to understanding our present and future.